Welcome to the Four Forests by Gold Seal Games. This is a 2 to 4 player game that takes roughly about a half an hour to play and is for ages 13 and up. And in the game Four Forests, you are basically trying to utilize your cards in hand each round to cultivate, harvest, pollinate, and prune. Your objective? To gain a certain value based on the different types of objectives that are face up on the playing field. There's a variety of different objectives, and each game is going to be different, and you're looking for different things, whether it be a location or a type of weather, and of course, a number. On your turn, you'll be placing cards and attempting to score in your tableau, as well as hidden cards that will determine which one of these objectives is worth the most, and somewhat lower, and then of course even negative. After a certain number of rounds, you're basically going to check to see what cards you have not only on your field but also in your hand to score points for each of the different variables. If you have the most points, you're the winner of the game. Let's explain how to play and set it up, and then of course my review. Beginning setup for the game is actually quite simple, and what you'll do is you will take 4 random objectives and place them face up on the table from the tarot-sized deck. You'll set aside the rest of the cards, which you'll use for other games. Then you'll take the value cards and place them next to these tarot-sized cards. They're going to range from 4, 3, 2, and a -1. You won't use these until the very end though. And this is the first player marker. Each player is going to be getting a player aid that will explain not only the available actions you'll take on your turn, but also the ranks of the creatures. And then you'll have this deck here. You'll shuffle it, deal 4 cards to each player, and then begin the game. Four Forests is a simple game with a little bit of complexity. And the way it works is you choose a first player. That player is going to get this marker here, and the game is going to go through in rounds. The first round, the first player gets to choose the actions. Once all the actions are done, the first player marker will pass to the next player, and that person will then choose the actions and progress until there are 4 rounds completed. Once that happens, there's a scoring phase. And in the game, we'll just start with the first round, and I'm going to start as the first player. I will choose these actions. I can choose them in order: cultivate, harvest, pollinate, and prune. If I want to play the advanced variant, I can, and that just means that the first player, who has the marker, is going to be able to select any of these abilities, and must select all of them in any order that they choose. So I could pollinate, cultivate, prune, and then harvest if I wanted to. When a player chooses to do one of the actions, every player will also follow suit, simultaneously placing down cards, or placing them down in order from the first player to the last player. And what's going to happen is basically you're going to follow the actions. We'll start with cultivate. Cultivate is basically playing a card from your hand and putting it face up in front of you on the field. This is your tableau. This is where you're guaranteed to score these cards at the end of the game. Well, what are you scoring? There are 4 objectives on the field. These objectives for all players, but you do not know how much value each of these objectives are going to be worth until the end of the game. And what you're going to be doing is checking to see what you need to do to complete these. The turtles, for instance, want water cards that are either 2, 4, 6, or 8, even. The phoenix wants sun cards. The gnomes are going to want mountains that range from 1 to 4, and dragons want runs. Your cards are going to have a number, a weather type, and of course a location, and so you'll have to check to see which of these match, and if you can get cards that cumulatively match multiple cards, that's good. And that's basically it. Cultivate. I place a card down, she places a card down, he places a card down, so on and so forth until everybody does it. You got 3 cards left, then we'll go to harvest and burn. Harvest and burn is about scoring in the game. You'll select one of the cards in your hand, and you will place it face down on one of the objectives, and that will determine which objectives are going to be worth how many points at the end of the game. Well, how? Basically, if you place a card face down, front-wise, you're going to give that a +1 vote at the end of the game. If you place it face down backwards on that location, it's going to give it a -1. So the locations that you want, or the achievements that you want to score higher points at the end of the game, you would want to put positive face down cards on, and the ones that you do not want to score, you'll put negatives. You only get to choose one though, and it has to be either it has to always be face down, but it can either be facing up or down. And so I can go, oh, the phoenix one. I'm going to place this face up like this and face down on the phoenix card. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Basically, front-wise or backwards-wise. Backwards is negative, front-wise is positive. And each player in turn order will do that as well, placing a card down on their objectives, thusly hopefully solidifying their aim of keeping that in the game, or maybe making it reduced to low victory points. At the end of the game, each of these will be worth a number of points based on the votes: 4, 3, 2, or -1. The next action you can do is pollinate. This is going to allow you to pass one of the cards in your hand to another player. So I have went and placed a card face up, I have placed a card on an objective, and now I'm going to pass a card to somebody else, and then that other person on my right hand side is going to pass me a card. Finally, the last thing is prune. Everybody must discard a card from their hand, a card they probably don't want to score or give to somebody else on the following round. Discard that card, you're left with one card left, and now the first player marker will pass to the next player. Then follow the round. Everyone is going to draw 4 cards once again, and then the player who now has the new first order or first turn marker is going to begin by selecting the actions to carry out. And that is how the game works. You'll continually place out a card, you're going to be placing cards down to vote, and then you're going to be passing a card, and then you're going to be discarding a card, and so on and so forth. And what's basically going to end up happening is you'll have 4 cards face up at the end of the game in front of you from the 4 rounds, and you will have 4 cards in hand. And then you will take these cards out and place them in front of you, thusly creating your tableau, or you can just put them in your hand however you want to do it, and you'll formulate points. And how do you determine the points? Well, you'll basically be flipping over all the face down cards in front of you in front of the objectives, and you'll see which of these cards gained positives and negatives. And you'll go, oh, okay, this one got the most negatives, so every card that players have face up on their tableau are going to be worth -1 in this category. This one had no votes, so it's going to get 2. And then we're going to look at the 3 and the 4. These guys here, they're both face up. They're both +1. In this case, this is a lower number, so this would get 3 points and this would get 4. And then you would calculate. Every card that I have that's a water that's an even is going to get -1, and I have 1 of those, so I'll be at -1 points. Every sun card I have 2, that's 8, putting me at 7. This one is going to be for every single mountain I have that's in the 1 to 4 range. That would score me an extra 3 points. And then this one over here, I check for runs. I put them together. In this case, I don't have any, but that would be my total score. Calculate your score and everybody else's, and whoever has the most points is the winner of 4 forests. And then play again, or maybe use one of these other different type of objectives. Okay, so what do I think about 4 forests? Well, this game is a little diamond in the rough. This is a really, really cool little tableau management game. It's kind of like a mini tableau management game that plays like a lot of the other ones I've played before as far as placing cards down to achieve objectives. But what's very unique about this one, not including just the gorgeous artwork, but the objectives and their ever-changing potential. And in fact, in the game, you can actually choose which objectives you'd like to make at the start of the game and kind of create your own set of 4 different objectives to kind of make the game a little more interesting and how the voting takes place. Because voting is also another portion of this game. It's really light and really quick. You're just doing 4 rounds, you're drawing your 4 cards, you're playing a card down, you're voting, you're passing a card, and then you are going ahead and discarding a card. And then the next player gets the thing, you draw your 4 cards again, and now you've got 5, and you're going to play a card face up, you're going to vote, you're going to pass, and you're going to discard, and then continue again until you're going to have, at the end of the 4th round, 4 cards in hand, 4 on the field. You'll calculate the points, and whoever has the most is the winner. God, it's so simple, but it is so complex in how you choose to place your votes down. Who's placing where? You have to watch other people's tableaus. It's not one of those games where you can kind of play solitaire on your own and kind of calculate your own little score of victory points. No, 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 no. If you do that, you will lose. You have to determine who's voting where and why. Callie and me are both going for elves. We both want 4s. But I see Josh over there, he has no 4s, and he played a card here. That means negative, very likely be negative. But wait, no, Josh actually has 3 4s in his hand, and the entire time he was actually begging on us putting this through. And so you have to calculate not only what's on the field, what's in players' hands, and remember what's in your hand. If you forget what's in your hand, or try and like not actually save that 1 extra card that can be useful to you, it could be your downfall. Additionally, you can be sneaky. You can place votes that don't matter, making people think that you're going for one thing when you're not, thusly they're wasting their votes so that you will come out ahead. It's a sneaky little game. It's a cool tableau management game that might rely on your tableau. Maybe you're putting random cards out, but actually they're cards that connect with other cards in your hand already. You place out just 1 4, and you've got other 4s in hand. You will have a straight, but you only have a 2 3 here. That's because the 4 is in your hand. I love it. This is a really fun tableau management game. I really enjoyed it. It feels really slick, like designed very well. And I just love all the different little aspects about it. I love to vote, I love to place cards, and then the little hand management aspect to it was really cool as well. Now the artwork. The artwork is beautiful. I actually really dig the artwork in this game. All the different objectives are very cool. It feels like they're all part of the same forest, the same type of unique little fern gully-like aspect to them. I just dig it. More. We played this game 4, 5 times the first night. We were like, oh, we'll test it out. We'll play it once and then we'll come back this weekend for game night and just play the games. No, we dumped into this one and we played it. 4 players is the best. 4 players is definitely where it's at. I love the amount of different voting and aspects you'll use with the cards here. And I want that interaction with this game. Plays fine 3, I didn't play it 2 players. I probably wouldn't enjoy a game like this 2 players. It just doesn't have enough, like, not enough of the votes, not enough of the passing. I want all of that. I want to even make this up to 6-player game and just add even more cards and objectives because I just love that aspect of like determining what everybody else is doing. Yeah, as you can tell, I really like 4 Forests. This is gonna get my seal of approval, especially for a small box game with a ton of complexity, with a simple idea behind it, just placing cards down to create a tableau with your hand and face of cards on your field. But there's just a lot more than meets the eye. Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game 4 Forests. This really is truly a hidden gem. I do suggest you taking a look at it for you guys who love tableau management game, and it's a wonderful world game. A game I just played, a Moon. It has a little bit of all that, just kind of wrapped up into a tiny little quick game that can play even quicker than 30 minutes once people know how to play it. Go ahead, and if you think we've earned it, not you've earned it, if we've earned it, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button. We only ask once a video, we only ask at the beginning, at the very end. Hopefully people are even still watching by this point, but if you are and you can take the time and push the button, it does greatly benefit us. It keeps us making more and more content. We've been doing this for almost a decade now, got over 1,500 videos now, and yeah, it keeps me motivated to continue. All right. Unfilteredgamer.com, blog posts, giveaways, Kickstarter lists, and more. Don't forget we have a live stream on Sunday. We've been doing it every Sunday for almost 8 years now on literally every platform, and a Whatnot stream on Wednesdays where we sell board games. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I look forward to venturing into the 4 Forests with you next time.